problem.
Okay, sorry. Don't we know?
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Final Point, a show where only Leeds bros, and imagine not being Leeds, team up. We have a point and we chat about the previous game. We are joined by a special guest, everyone's favourite Italian. There's rumours that Pep Guardiola has pictures of him on the wall. We have Andrea Russo with us here tonight. Andrea, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
No, thanks, lads. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here and chat with you about our beloved Leeds United.
Everywhere you go, that title will just follow you, Andrea, won't it? Again, yeah, thanks very much for coming on. It's great to have you. Matty, how are you doing, buddy? All good?
All good, mate. Yeah, busy day at work, but always makes it sweeter when Leeds have won. Always a good
That's
day
it.
after the victory.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And the brother, Dillo, what's happening? How are you? On babysitting duty again tonight?
Babysitting duty again, yeah. So going forward, this is the way it's going to be. Mrs. got a new job, so congratulations to her. All good, running around like a hellish chicken, and I absolutely bet me toe off the cot. And it's purple, and the toenail's probably going to fall off, so I'm a bit limpy at the minute as well. So, but other than that, it's good. It's a Wednesday night. Each lad has a point. We have Andrea on. Leeds got 3 points. You can't ask more than that, can you?
No, not at all. It always just makes it better when Leeds United get 3 points. Lads, I think we'll get straight into it, and I think there's only one place to start. Was the man of the match, Daniel James, yesterday. Matty, you were at the game yesterday. Was he as good as what he looked on the telly?
Yeah, phenomenal, mate. From where he won a couple of years ago, what a redemption arc he's had. At Leeds United, unbelievable. I mean, he's just everywhere. I mean, he scored a brilliant goal. Missed that chance just before, which were probably the easier two. But what I love about him is his work off the ball's unreal as well. I mean, you guys watched it on TV, and I saw on the match reaction last night, you mentioned how it looked like Dan James, one of the tackles, came out of nowhere and took the ball from like basically the left back position. But where I was sat in the top of the east, and we could see him maraud across down the wing. Then
he was tracking a run, wasn't he? First of all, there was someone bursting through the middle, because I watched the back and I was like, I just had to see how did he get from the right wing to the left wing so quick. Honestly. But he was actually tracking. They broke, and he was obviously just didn't care about positions, was tracking a run back, and then he smelt the danger and straight across. It was just unbelievable performance from him, wasn't it?
It's crazy when you think of the talent we've got on the wings. He's probably his number one winger at the minute, currently on form. Yeah. Undroppable at the minute, and it gives you so much going backwards as well, not just going forwards. But that part of his game, we've mentioned it in past, where a bit of cloud, a bit of misty when he gets into the area, and wrong decision at the wrong time. A bit like we sort of touch on Aronson now. That's a little bit of game he's still got to develop. With James now, Farke's improved him immensely. Like that, he's got to get credit for that. Farke's improved him. Yeah, there'd be a lot of people say it's a level of drop down. We don't know yet until we see him in Premier League if that's true or not. But I know what we've got now. This version of Dan James is the best version I've ever seen. In a Leeds shirt and potentially in his career. I think he's playing the football of his life, and he looks happy. Looks really happy.
Yeah,
me and you, Matty, though, definitely living from the start. Though we've always agreed on the situation with Dan James.
Yeah,
that's one thing I will say. Like he's really took off, especially this season, and exactly what Darren said. This is definitely the best we've seen him before Bielsa, with Bielsa, and then obviously I'm not even going to say Marsh, but whenever, and now obviously Farke, but he's. I think even the loan, when he went on loan to Fulham, I think it helped him grow as a player as well. He's really, really just matured. He's He's phenomenal, lads. That finish last night was unbelievable.
So good.
Honest to God, like it was just he picked it out and it went straight into the corner. It was unreal. I have to give him flowers for that one. And for me, I'd be starting him every game until he starts lacking. But at the minute, he's on flying form.
And
Yeah,
I think
he's
Matty,
absolutely fine.
I think Matty summed it up perfectly. You know, right now, based on form, he's the best winger that we have because he always performs. You know, and Farke has improved him greatly because I think if we look back at his Leeds career, when he arrived, there were a lot of injuries, so he had to play as a striker, as the number 9, false 9, under Bielsa many times. Then he was misused the next seasons, I think. So yeah, I think right now he has finally found his place into the team, what he can bring to the team, and especially from the start, because I was really worried about his impact from the start, from the beginning, because he used to have, especially last season, a better impact off the bench, because especially when we're up, teams try to press you, try to get at you, and there's more space on the counter attack, and he is great when he has the space in front of him to attack with the ball, to sprint into that. Right now he's so useful, even in the middle, with the passing, with all of that. His awareness has grown a lot in the last 2 seasons under Farke. And I was talking to Lockie yesterday, because we usually exchange opinion after the game. I said to him, he's the embodiment of what Leeds United means this season. He always performs. He's not the most talented winger, of course. Nyonto, Solomon, they're better dribblers, There's also Ramazani, all dribblers, but Dan James is different, He isn't so versatile like them, but he always gives 100%, Look at the playoff final. A lot of players felt the pressure. They didn't perform. When Dan James got on, that crossbar and all of that, he was the only one probably with the right mindset to play in that playoff final, So absolutely, he's rising, and now you can take him out of the starting 11 right now. Absolutely, 100% deserves to be there.
He's now number 1 for me, lads. Like, he has to start every single week. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And you look back even if you go back a few months ago, the start of the season, it was almost like Nonto was undroppable. Mike, you said it as well at the time, that it just feels like if there's one player that you pick that you think are gonna play every single week, it is Willie Nonto. And he's definitely dropped off a little bit, and I think it's going to hamper him a little bit going out to that left hand side. As soon as he has, it feels like his performance have dropped a little bit. I know he got the goal yesterday, but he was very lucky. But I just think his all round play has dipped. When he was out on that right wing, at least he was still kind of getting involved. He was still playing well. He looked good on the ball. He just wasn't getting the goals and assists. And I was kind of saying, that will come. But it seems like now, as soon as he's gone out to that left wing, his performance has dropped again, and it's resulted in him dropping to the bench now a couple of times. And it doesn't really feel like Nonto has that short anymore, does he not? And Dan James he's taken that mantle, hasn't he? He's been outstanding.
I've got a touch of the Dan James syndrome. I can't say his name without smiling. It's like infectious. He's one of them, honestly. Whenever I think of Dan James, watch him, anything he does, it makes me smile. He's one of them players, like, he's just infectious. I think he's finally got a song now. I could hear that going around the stadium yesterday, and I feel like from where he was, the fans have just grown to love him. And like Andrea says, he's never had. You can never question his endeavour, his effort, his work rate. That's always been there. But now we're seeing something else in him now, where he doesn't need 5-6 chances to score. He might need a couple, don't get me wrong, but
especially the one 30 seconds before that, I was coursing him. How didn't he score that?
But what I love about him is he has a go, he has a shot. He don't mind coming back on his left foot and chipping it to the back post or drifting it over, or even having a shot with his left foot. He's got it all to his game. At this level, he's absolutely phenomenal. It's a cheat code that we've got the players we've got at this level, and he's one of them. Like Andrea said, I used to look at him last season like a bit of a super sub. He's actually forced his way into starting lineup now as a rather than being a game changer. He's good enough to start and change game from off rather than just being that last 20 minutes. It's crazy how good he is at the minute.
And he does like what Andrea says. Like, he isn't as talented and he isn't as easy on the eye as what the others are. But he always gives 100%, lads. And I remember at the Bristol City game, he was after coming back from the hamstring injury. I said it to you boys, his queue wasn't chalked that game, but he still gave 100%, didn't he? He knew it wasn't there. He knew his match sharpness wasn't there, but he still gave it all. He didn't hide away, and he never shies away. And that's one thing I do have to say about Dan James. For the time since he signed for Leeds, he always gives 110%, and you can always see him. If he's technically not on it that day, he will still do the run. He'll still track back. He'll still make the runs. And he never shies away from me. He always comes looking for it. So for me, yeah, he's been absolutely outstanding. I'm just delighted with Dan James. Yeah, 100%. Dillo, you? Sorry, go ahead, Andre.
No worries. A quick one. it would be mad if he didn't give 100%. You know, if he didn't give 100% all this time after all the mess that went on when we first.
I think I got. Try it. I think I got
Can you hear me
it.
now?
Yeah, you're speechless about him.
That's
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
I think your mic's gone.
You're gone.
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, I
Oh,
can
yeah, no,
hear
we
you.
can, yeah, we can hear you.
It sounds like it's
I
through
can
your.
hear you, though.
It's through your
Okay,
earphones, I think. Yeah.
Wait a second.
Anyway, I'll take it away.
I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I was saying after all that mess that went on, you know, trying to sign him, and you know that deadline day. Now he has the right mindset every time, you know, and he's you can see that he worked very hard this season to adapt to a different position, you know, and absolutely the difference with Nyonto, I think, is that Nyonto is very limited in a certain sense, you know, because dribbling is the main thing in his game. And if he doesn't manage to dribble, he struggles when he passes the ball to find a new position. James always tries to create the width to help with the length of the team, try to stretch the team, you know. I think Willian needs to improve in that sense, you know, because right now he's very 1v1 situations. And after that, you know, even when he goes inside, try to get to call for the ball, he doesn't have that impact now. I'm glad he scored yesterday because it will help him in terms of confidence. But right now, he needs to improve his all-around game, you know, because I think after... I agree with you, Darren, on the left-hand side, you know, because he started there when he signed for Leeds. Then he was moved to the right wing, and it's different, you know, because when you play on the left, you go inside like at Old Trafford, you know, try to get a shot from his right foot. After when you go on the right, it's different thing. You know, you try to do what Dan James does. You know, try to stretch the team, try to be wide, try to take the left back wide on the line. You know, so he needs to readapt on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He played. Nonto played very central yesterday. You know,
that's what I thought, mate.
Very
It was like Volber was almost the left winger at times, wasn't he? Because I said to Dylan before the game, I was like, I might be a little shining light that Volber is going to be starting to kind of give us that a little bit defensively, because we know what Fairbo's like. Fairbo will go. See, Andrea, Fairbo does kind of get forward. He will be back. Fairbo does like to get forward, and I was kind of thinking maybe this is a little bit of a shining light against Middlesbrough today, because I'm not going to see Volber getting forward today. You know, might give us that little bit of solidness at the back. He didn't. He did. He was getting forward all the time, wasn't he? And it was at times, like what you said, it was like when Volber was playing so wide, it was kind of forcing Nonto in a little bit. So it was almost at one stage we had Aronson and Nonto playing as like 2-10, so he wasn't really out on the left wing as much. But I did touch on it yesterday on Joe's instant match reaction. Since he has gone out to that left hand side, you can see him, and he done it a lot against Blackburn, and he done it a couple of times as well yesterday. He's constantly cutting in on that right foot, but he doesn't have that natural kind of whip, that you know, kind of wrap it around the foot like the way Somerville did into the far corner. He's very much like off the laces type of player. Even the goal that he did score at Old Trafford, it's very much power rather than precision with Willie Nonto, if you get me. So I don't think it really works from all that well trying to get in. He can get in on the right foot, but I just don't think he has that kind of killer, you know, that the killer instinct to kind of score from there. So I just think that it's hampered his game a little bit, and it's something that we touched on. Mate. We've obviously said that we wanted to see him in the 10, but we've also said that the left hand side is where we've seen him playing his best football, especially in the Premier League. But now it's resulted in him dropping out of the team a little bit. I know we started yesterday, but you're talking to me or mate? Just sit down. Yeah, so it's resulted in him now falling out of the team, but like that as well, it feels like now that it's not even a surprise if Nonto's not in the team anymore, because for me, Dan James has to start, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Solomon. Solomon was good as well when he came on yesterday. I thought he kind of gave a little bit more as well. So yeah,
I feel like now Ramazan is back and Solomon's obviously in form, and he isn't going to play Nonto in the 10. I feel like he's gone from really Nonto could probably play in all three positions, but it's probably now ended up where he's only got that right hand side. And because James is playing so well, you're probably going to find Nonto on the bench quite a bit, because I doubt he's going to play on left, because that means you'll be dropping Solomon and Ramazan into the bench.
Lads, I have to put it out there. I don't think Nonto should start. I think Nonto should be on the bench.
Yeah,
that time that he came on, sorry to touch the Sutter again. That time that he came on and scored a goal as a super sub, if you'd like to say, I can't remember who it was against, but anyway, it seems every time that he is starting, it's an overconfident kind of thing that I'm starting to see. And I did say it on Joe's video last night, and he actually agreed with me. But it's like at times he, even with the camera towards the end, when Leeds won, he was walking, he had the hood up. He just didn't seem like, I don't know, happy. I know you probably didn't see him, Matty, because you were at the game, but me and Darren did say, and he just didn't look excuse me.
It feels like for me, lads, ever since Somerville went, and I keep saying it, but you see Somerville writing on his stuff on Instagram and stuff like that, saying, "Oh, like you're the main man now," and that's the vibes that I've been getting from Willie Nanto all season, and it hasn't changed. It's like he's trying to be the main man, that number one, the one to take the mantle. And I said it right at the very start, lads, when we started up this channel, is that he doesn't need to be that this season, because we were well over reliant on Somerville, Rutter, them players to dig us out holes last season, and when they weren't on their game, Leeds weren't on their game. But it's not like that anymore. We have so many options. Welcome back. We had so many options across the park that we don't need to be reliant on one player anymore. So I really think Nanto needs to kind of get back to basics as such. Don't put himself under too much pressure. For me, it's like he's trying too hard. He's trying to assist too hard. He's trying to score goals too hard.
He's overconfident.
Just try and relax. Get that smile back on your face. Get back enjoying it, because once you start enjoying it, once you start loving it, you'll start scoring goals and they'll come. And it's obviously easy for me to say sitting here behind the mic and on YouTube, but that's just the vibe that I'm getting from Willie Nanto this season. He's just trying to force it too much, and his decision making in the final third, it's just been off for me a little bit. It hasn't been there. So he just needs to get back to basics, take a breath, fight his way back into the team, but most of all enjoy it. Is what Dylan said yesterday. When you're coming off the pitch and you don't look too happy after winning the game 3-0, it's not all about you, Willie. It's about the sides. Enjoy the result and move on to the next one.
This game, lads, this season, lads, should have been Nanto's real breakthrough year. I know he's shown moments, but when you look at Somerville moving on and look at how Somerville performed last year, when you're Willie Nanto and even a fan looking, from outside looking in, this really should have been Nanto's main year. Where you look at him and you go, "What a player!" And then he makes that level awfully step up to Premier League. But he will have been expecting, I think, like you say, to really have a standout year. And with 20 games in now, lads, and it's not quite there, and he's getting outshone by a few others. But we know there's a player there, and I think he's just going to have to accept he's probably going to be a bit, there'll be rotation, but I think he might be a bit of a bench option going forward for the next few games. But I love that, I love having these players taken out. Like when Pirro, he starts on bench, he'll have been disappointed yesterday, and he comes on and gets an assist and a pre-assist. I love that. I love that competition. And
I was just going to say that, mate. Sorry for cutting you off. Like, Danny did say it there. It was against Swansea when he came on, and then Dan James done it as well.
Yeah.
Like they're coming on and scoring goals. So you kind of want that kind of competition of flair. But I think when Nanto was starting yesterday, and Darren, we did say it, like, I wanted DJ to start. That was the main thing we both agreed on, Darren. And I was saying I'd like to see Ramazani. Obviously, I don't think he's ready for 90.
No.
And clearly he wasn't, but even in the solemn
situation, he didn't even play. I say that's ridiculous that he didn't even have a run.
That's mental, honestly.
Crazy. Like when I didn't see Ramazani coming on. Hopefully that means that he's fit enough then for pressing to get a couple of minutes of pressing.
Mm-hmm. And I think Nanto's just kind of walking into this team. Like at the end of the day, I'm not at the training ground. I don't see what Farksy is. Like he obviously is. We know he's a good player, and we know that he's willing to score goals and stuff like that. But I just feel like maybe because of last season we hadn't got as many wingers, or maybe he was, he had that kind of bond with Somerville that he's kind of, maybe he's feeling sorry for himself a little bit under the circumstances,
I'd love to know, Andrea, where do you think Nanto's best position is? On the right, the left, or down the middle? With him naturally coming inside quite a lot, I've said maybe a 10 going forward. Farke don't see him as a 10. Do you see him as an out-and-out winger?
Yeah, I see him as an out-and-out winger. Honestly, I think we saw the best from him when he played on the left in the Premier League. Honestly, because we played a different system, Matty, of course, very different system from this one. So it was very similar to what he used to be at Zurich. So. Like, give the ball to him, like the Rafinha style, give the ball to him and try something, in that regard. Now, I think on the left, we've seen the best from him. He can play also on the right. He needs to improve, I think, his middle game. In the middle, in the under-21s, in the national team, he was played like a second striker, so he played more centrally. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen him, honestly, as an option for the number 10, because he's all the play or his movement in midfield, because I see the number 10 in this side. If I look at past Daniel Farke sides, like Norwich City, with Mario Vrancic, with Marcus Stiepermann, in Borussia Mönchengladbach, Lars Stindl, very, very different players. So he always played like very similar to Joe Rothwell, a type of midfielder, an attacking midfielder, very similar to what Rothwell is, a player that can attack, that can score goals, that can create and be sharp, in terms of through balls, but also a link up between the two midfielders behind them and the striker and also the wingers, because it's like I call him an advanced playmaker, In American football, probably they call him the quarterback, I think in modern football, you have two playmakers, the number 6 and the number 10 if you play with this kind of system, But I don't see Gnonto, honestly, do what Aronson does, moving all around in the final third. Completely different players, of course. But going forward, you've seen also Aronson that when the ball was stuck, he moved to the right, near the final third on the right or the left to get the ball. And when we were stuck and didn't have the verticality, I struggle to see Gnonto be like the third man in midfield right now because he's a natural winger. He used to be a winger when he was at Inter Milan in the youth setup. Then he moved to Zurich, and I think I always said that, especially to when he first had his first cap, after we missed the World Cup qualifiers, after North Macedonia was called up because Mancini wanted to start a new cycle, a new national team camp setup, so he called some young players. And everyone, after he had these first 2 games, I remember them against Germany, and I think it was Hungary. Everybody was raving about him, but it was a very different experimental national team side. So everybody was saying, "Oh, Juventus want him, AC Milan want him, Inter Milan want him." Stay calm. Step after step, it was overrated, overpushed by the media in Italy, and I think he didn't help his development because after that, everybody was expecting him to move to a top Italian side because of what the press was saying, But after that, he arrived at the end of the transfer window without a viable option out of Zurich. Then he signed for Leeds United, and when he arrived here, remember Marsh said, "Oh, probably he's going to start with the under-23s. We'll see if he's ready for the Premier League, and all of that." So his development was rushed, I think, because we had players not performing that season. And after that, he wanted to leave and all of that. So I think the expectations were raised too much. Yeah. And right now, he needs to actually prove it on the pitch because after that, in the Championship, at level below the Premier League, he played better in the Premier League than he played in the Championship so far because he hasn't really found his continuity, his consistency. We've seen better things from him in the Premier League than in the Championship for me. And it's sad to say because I want him to be better, honestly, because he's a talented player.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said, Andre. He definitely needs to get back on. He just doesn't feel like the Willie Gnonto that he has been in the past, and now he feels like he is kind of droppable, which is a major shift at the start of the season. Going into it was almost like he was the undroppable one. But even when after the playoff final defeat, I think everyone kind of was saying after that, well, that's Gnonto gone. That'd be Gnonto out the door. He was the first one that everyone was saying, look, if we can kind of somehow keep Somerville, it was obviously a long shot. Then we were talking Georgie and Archie. We definitely didn't see Archie gone. But we were all kind of saying, oh, Gnonto will be the first one out the door. He'll hand in his transfer request, he'll be gone. But he's the one that's still here. So it's mad how football goes. And look, he can still turn it around. Still a long way to go in the season. And I just hope he does. Maybe this is just something that he needs. Maybe he was too comfortable in the side thinking I can't start every week. Do you know what I mean? I don't really have to give it all. And it's shown now with the rest of the players stepping up to the plate is really kind of forced me out of the squad. Next player I want to touch on, lads, we're going to go right back to the goalkeeper, Illan Meslier. We've all obviously been very critical, especially here in only Leeds Bros. We've hammered him, especially from the Sunderland mistake. But yesterday, lads, we give him his flowers, don't we? He was absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? The 2 saves that he made to keep us in the game. He lost his 2 points at Sunderland. But I think he probably won us 2 points last night, lads. And when the game was in the balance, he made 2 very important saves, didn't he?
That's his job.
That sounded like Roy Keane there.
I was just about to say that. No, look, I'll start this off, lads, because I'll take the negative approach here. Meslier is doing my head in. I'm throwing it out, and I'm sorry. His shot stopping is good. He'll pull off great saves as he did yesterday. But then his kicking is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, it is
atrocious.
Bad, isn't it?
And everyone's saying, "Oh, yeah, no, great. He saved us the game and such and such." But did he? Fair enough. Like if that goal had went in, obviously it would have been a different game. But then who's to say that the subs that came on didn't score a goal? So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to be negative when it comes to him. What I am trying to say is,
you are.
I'm giving him 10 out of 10.
Negative Nelly.
I'm giving him 10 out of 10 in the sense of he made the 2 saves, but I'm not giving him a 10 out of 10 because of his kicking. You know, like Darren, you did say it. Well, I think it was the Premier League, and it was under Bielsa anyway, and his kicking was spot on. It was on
That
point.
Arsenal, his debut against Arsenal in the FA Cup, he was unbelievable. It was like, what was called it as like a bow and arrow. Everyone that he kicked was just straight to feet. And I remember after that game going, and we obviously had that whole thing with Casilla that time and the ban for the racism and stuff like that. And he just came in and was a breath of fresh air. And I remember saying to you then at the time, I was like, he could be our next Nigel Martin. He is phenomenal. Like his kicking and all, like especially in today's game, it's very heavily reliable on the goalkeeper being able to play with his feet, and he could. He was class, but the decline, how he's fallen off that. Being there even yesterday, some of his kicking out like
he had
Andrea.
no scars, though, did he? He had no scars. You know what I mean? He was fret. You feel this when you come in. You know what I mean? You can be overawed by a debut, but for me, he had no scars. He had no baggage. He'd come in.
Do you think it's Bielsa seen something in him that his distribution is good, so he made him work on it? And is it a thing because we've had so many managers? They've obviously tried different things. Maybe tried a shot stop and that. It's probably he isn't working on his kicking as much anymore, so his kicking has declined. Could that be it? Like he definitely still has a locker. You can't do what he done that season and be pinpointing and then all of a sudden just lose it. I don't think that's something you just lose, is it? So
maybe it's one of them where he's naturally, you know, quite good at that side of the game. So maybe he don't train on it as much as he used to. Maybe that's affected it. Maybe it's confidence. I don't really know with that, to be fair. But last night, just to touch on last night, I mean, the concentration is shown in recent weeks to not have much to do, but when called upon, you know, make crucial saves. I mean, that. I say save that block when he came out yesterday. It
was a weird one. It was like a slide on his knees or something. It was
unbelievable. He took ball and all, didn't he? But they got 2-1 up there, and like you say, it's a totally different game. And you know, he's not getting much to do most games, but that concentration level to call when he's called upon, you know, keepers in game like that were massive last night. And when you look at it, I actually think since the Sunderland game, he hasn't put much of a foot wrong, if I'm honest. And you know, I'm not a big Meslier fan, but I do feel like he's improved. I feel like these clean sheets.
Well, no, mate, but I'm going to counter that a little bit, and it goes back to I think we only conceded like 3 shots in 6 games.
Oh no,
we really should. After Sunderland, we were like, and it was probably the best thing for Farke to do because we had to hang our hat on Meslier. We had no choice. But it was like the defence. We weren't conceding any chances whatsoever. And it was probably the best thing
that's the defence.
The best thing for his confidence. I can understand where Matty's coming from. Like he has kind of, you know, worked his way back into the side. But I think if you say the following week, I can't even remember who we played after Sunday, but you say the following week he got bombarded and conceded another couple of goals, you know, it's another dent on his confidence. We actually went into the international break. Remember, it was 2 weeks off because I remember stewing on it for 2 weeks, thinking about how did he let it go. But I think that was more so defensively. I think Daniel Farke said, look, we need to protect our goalkeeper now. Let's be rock solid. Don't give them any chances. Let's try and protect him as much as we can. And let him try and build his confidence back as the weeks go on. And I think that again, for me, that's Daniel Farke's management.
100%, mate. You know what it is though, when you look at it, I agree. I'm first to say it's the defence that is keeping these clean sheets, or it's a collective, including midfield and strikers. They all work as a unit. But I do feel like going 2, 3, 4 games with a clean sheet, whether he's the sole reason or not, which I don't believe he is, it's got to be a confidence building, not turning around and picking ball out in net 2 or 3 times a game. So even though he's not the only reason we've kept a clean sheet, he is going to get confidence out of not. I mean, in Premier League, it were 5, 6s. You know, whether it's his fault or not, we were conceding goals left, right, and centre. That's a negative. That's a knock-on effect, regardless. So the fact that he isn't doing that, even if it is a defenders, it is going to boost him up. And I feel like now you're seeing probably best Meslier I've seen in maybe 12 months. I feel like he looks a bit more confident. Yeah, his kicking out hasn't been brilliant, but I don't think it's been absolutely shocking either. I mean, we all rave about Pascal Strauch. He gave him a nail-biting one yesterday, and that was Pascal Strauch doing it. So it can happen to anybody, to be honest. So, but I will say, when you look at that, that's going to breed confidence. I mean, you think now that's as good as scoring a couple of goals as a striker. The confidence he's going to take into the next game, you know, coming up with saves like that. He's not only, like you say, he gets a clean sheet and the fans say it's not, you know, he's not really done that, which I agree with to a degree. But last night, no one's saying that. I know he didn't get a clean sheet. Everybody's saying Meslier were part of that win. The reason we got 3 points, Meslier were part of that.
Oh, no, he was.
He's going to grow. He's going to
grow. That's what I'm saying. Like, definitely 100% give him a flourish. Yes, like I said, he lost his 2 points at Sunderland. Yesterday he probably won us because that game was in the balance. When it went to 1-1, they probably, like what you said, mate, they probably had about 10 minutes of dominance where the game felt fairly in the balance. It could have went the other way. We did step up a gear, but before we did, he had 2 very crucial saves that kept kept us in the game. If we didn't, and Leeds go 2-1 down, you know, probably turns a bit hostile, and the second one as well, we're definitely not coming back from that. So he, like what you said, it's definitely a confidence builder for him, and that's why I do give him his flowers for yesterday. But I just think overall, I just want to see more from Elliot, and I think it's probably just going back to how I felt against Arsenal that time, that I just had that feeling that he was going to be an unbelievable goalkeeper, and I just expected, as the years went on, even if it wasn't going to be with Leeds, like I think, remember one stage the first year in the Premier League when we finished 9th, I remember thinking, I was like, he's going to end up at, like, you know, Real Madrid or one of the top clubs, be French #1, and I don't see that in his career at the minute. I just don't see him progressing enough to get there.
Lads, I just want to touch on the own goal from Bober. Like, did anyone see Melié's position?
Yeah, exactly. What I was going to say, I think if you want
I'm
to...
not being smart here. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it was like he was going.
Dylan's very negative tonight, isn't he?
No, because, like, well, what I'm trying to, like...
Get the rest of that point in, Early.
Yeah, Melié... No, I don't mean it that way, sorry. Like, Bober headed it back. Obviously, he tried to clear it. But
Melié
kind of comes out to his usual punching and his positioning again. So we've touched on this before about a goal. I think it was deflected off Bogle, remember? And I went in and it was about his positioning. So nowadays his kicking bad, his positioning is bad. Coming from corners, he's coming out. Why can't he just come and catch it? Why does he have to try and punch it? He's a goalkeeper. Grab the ball. That's just me. My rant over. Finished.
No,
Go ahead, Andre.
It's confidence against his confidence. You know, I think he's also fear sometimes in the middle of a scrap, in the middle of a... I don't know if that is the correct word. You know, adult. You know, when crowded and into the crowded box, into the crowded area, I think he has some fears there going out for the ball, because usually punches it many times in the Premier League. You know, when he looked shaky because he went out and went aggressive. You know, just punching the ball. It feels, and we go back to what Matty said. You know, scars. Scars is the right word, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
Because when he had his debut against Arsenal, I remember that game. He was brilliant. Looked so confident, so calm, and it was his first game in English football, basically. And remember that, of course, he had some games. He had a season, you know, at Lorient, but we signed him because he was supposed to be number 2. Then, like you said, Darren, you know, all the things that happened with Kiko Casilla, he became the number 1, and he stayed on. But his development has stuck. He's stuck here, basically. It's his 6th season at Leeds United. He arrived in 2019. And unfortunately, he's a good keeper for the Championship, of course. But unfortunately, I don't see him, like I said on other shows, you know, I don't see him as the goalkeeper of the future for Leeds United, because describing him in a nutshell, you know, great save before the corner, you know, with his hands, taking the ball and deflecting the ball into the corner, you know, giving them a corner, of course. Great save, great reflexes. On the goal, his position was not great. He didn't cover the post. Of course, we needed to put and keep the man there, you know, because we were too open in that post. The ball passed just there, you know. But he needed to be better. His positioning on corners, on free kicks, needs to improve. But in the end, you know, it's his 6th season at Leeds United. He's 24. He arrived in 2019. You do the maths there, you know. Unfortunately, he was very highly rated after we got to the Premier League, but his development is not only his fault, of course. I think you are affected also by the environment around you.
Yeah.
And too many changes in terms of style of footballs. Marsh, Javi Gracia, Allardyce, then Park arrived, then he started to climb up again a little bit the mountain, you know, after being left with scars, basically, you know, because the defense in the final season of the Premier League, I think it felt like every time they were having a shot, it could have gone on, you know, because we were very open. And as a goalkeeper, you know, when you don't have mutual trust, because the defense was shockful that season, you know. I think he didn't.
Sorry, that's a brilliant comment.
Top notch, yeah. I think he didn't trust the defense, honestly, because they were always giving them chances, you know, to the opposition. So he was worried every time, you know. And now he's trying. He did some good performances, some game-winning performances, like season at Leicester, you know. But overall, honestly, he's still shaky, and he's 24. You know, it will be better for him. Honestly, I would like to see him in another club to see his real value, because I think we kind of protect him as a fan base, a little bit more, because you're right that he was basically a kid and now he's 24, but sometimes it still feels like he's that kid again, but he's 24 now. And
I just feel like he can't do it in the big games. Like I always worry from LA when it's a big game, a crucial game, a game that we have to win. Like, I look back at that Norwich, the first leg down at Carrow Road, lads, and he put the living shit up me when I was watching that game. Do you remember how dodgy he was down at Carrow Road? His passing, he was very sloppy on the ball. He just looked so ropey every time the ball came back to him. His kicking was bad. And that's probably me fearing. Look what you're kind of getting at, Andrea. Is it the mentality? Is it like the mental scarring that's kind of done this to him? And does he need to get back there? But the question I want to put across to all three is, whether we're in the Premier League or in the Championship next season, is Ilham Elie our goalkeeper? Go Dillo first next season.
For the Premier League, no. For the Championship, yeah.
Yeah. Matty, you, buddy?
Just quickly before I answer that, I think a lot of time, in football, your personality matters as well. And I think Mameli is quite a timid character. I'd like my goalkeeper to be quite, not even just physically demanding, but like, the way, emotional,
And like an Oliver Kahn, Casper Schmeichel, or grabbing them,
Even if you're not technically the best player or goalkeeper, sometimes that confidence can take you to another level. And I want that from a goalkeeper. That's what I prefer. But I think either way he goes next season, because I think even if we stay in this division, which I don't for one second think we will, I think he's going to get a lot of clean sheets this year. I think he's made his big howler. I think he'll course through the season okay. And I think the value we're going to get him for, I don't think they'll take a risk on another year. So I think, say like if someone comes in, someone and goes, here's 10 million, I think they won't risk it. I think they'll sell him regardless of the division.
Yeah,
that's my
too. That's my thinking. You, Andrea?
Yeah, like I said in the past, I think that next season we need a fresh start, both us and him. Because like I said, he's 24. He's always only played apart from one season on Lorient for Leeds. He needs to prove himself, honestly, to another club. I want to see how he fares, than there. I think we need a fresh start and a keeper that, again, we go back to his passing and his ability to long for the long balls too. I think yesterday too, his short passing is good, but overall, again, it gives you worries, honestly. And in modern football, especially the way Falco wants to play, you need your GK to be more involved in the build-up too when we go for the ball back, But, sometimes if you try to sweep it, to go for the long ball, it's not on point every time, And it's unfortunate for him, honestly. I don't think there's a lot of truth in the rumors that are flying around, about Stade Rennais being interested in him in January, honestly, because he will
surely Leeds aren't letting him go then. That's a massive gamble on the club there. No way. I even think if they slap down 20 million, which is not going to happen, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's a massive gamble, isn't it? And that's probably then, on Hoyd, so I kind of saying, well, you're saying get rid of him, but I just think during the season, just leave it as it is. He's fine. He's doing well. Do I want him in the Premier League next season? Absolutely not. But it's a massive risk if Leeds let him go. Because who are we going to replace him with? January. You can't. Exactly. You wouldn't be able to,
But the problem is too that, he lost his place in the final season in the Premier League for the final games to Joao Robles. Then last season, he was doing okay. But even in January, there were rumors about Bartolomei Drongoschi from Spezia, then he went to Panathinaikos. If there's rumors about a new GK, it means that your GK is not doing. He still has some bits that he needs to master, to well better, and overall, Rennes have a lot of money because their owner is a billionaire, one of the richest men in the world. Honestly, I don't think Ramsdale and also apart from one of the richest men in the world, I think also Salma Hayek, the actor's husband. But that's trivia, trivia. And I read some comments. I think Ramsdale and Keller, if we go up, they're not viable. Keller, he might be if he stays at Liverpool, of course. You are Irish, so you know his value.
His projection,
He is a very, very good goalkeeper. I don't think he will sign for a newly promoted club. If that's the case, he may even go to Germany. I think there's space for him for another club playing in Europe. It's very similar to Meyer in a certain sense, because Keller is very calm when he plays for Liverpool, has great games, but also, especially for Ireland, yes, in certain games he's not like Bazunu, Sometimes they tend to.
Because that's it. Because it was like him and Bazunu were level for a long time. Bazunu kind of took away from a little bit, and we were kind of saying, as Irish lads, kind of saying we've two great goalkeepers up and coming, but Bazunu definitely took that number one. But obviously, Bazunu was injured now, but Kelleher has been phenomenal. But so what you say, Andrea, for the Irish squad, like that bombarded, that back line as well. He just has a horror time. But then you see him playing for Liverpool, and you read it's much similar to kind of Shay Given, how Shay Given was for Newcastle, phenomenal goalkeeper, but there was times in Ireland he was just left exposed. Yeah, and I suppose that's just name again. But yeah, I think the projection of Kelleher. Yeah, I think after this season,
It'd be a serious signing.
I'd be unbelievable. I'd love. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to get him. I can't see it happening.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, because he might sign for example, RB Leipzig. Just to throw a name in there. I think if we go up for a new GK, you have to take one from abroad. Honestly, because I don't see many upcoming GKs in the Championship. I think the good one was taken by Sheffield United. Cooper is a good GK. But you have to take one from abroad, like we do with Melia and Casillia, honestly. In the end, the last goalkeeper that we produced was Pico Farrell, and his career has gone downward, from
bad,
there. Yeah, very bad compared to how we started, But yeah, I think
where is he now, actually?
I think he plays in
Denmark.
Is
he? Is he not Birmingham?
Yeah, Birmingham, right. Last season in Denmark with Aalborg, I think.
I think he's with Birmingham this season, lads, because he had a howler this season. I think there was a pass back to him that went under his foot or something like that. I remember now he might have been sent out alone, but there was definitely I'd seen a pass back this season. He's with Birmingham, but I think he's out the Northern Ireland squad, so it's mad that Bielsa even hung his hat on him as well. It's crazy, isn't it? We'll move on from goalkeepers Neil and Melier, because I think it's just one of them. Will ebb and flow for the whole game. Next one I want to speak about, guys, probably the main one yesterday, probably shocked us all. Matteo Joseph starting back up front yesterday. Probably one I don't think we all seen. I think we were all kind of seeing that Barker was edging towards Joe Pirro. But I'm going to come to Matty for this one, because this is something that we're always going to have a conversation. Matteo Joseph yesterday, right call to start him yesterday, or what did you think of his performance?
Mate, I'm so torn. I'm so torn with this, because I say all the time, it works. Our best spells this season have been when Joseph starts and Pirro comes off bench, right? That's just fact. That works. Yeah. But I haven't been calling for Joseph to start recently because Pirro's been doing the business. But last night it sort of showed again what I sort of mean by that. He didn't score, but it was involved in both goals with Pirro. And yes, there's another angle to that. You could say, well, if he's that good, for those 20 minutes, if he started, he might have been involved in 3 or 4 goals. I get that point. And it's not even a case I ain't even going to sit here and say it's because Joseph tires the defence out. It's just 70 minutes in. The defenders are tired anyway, not just from Joseph running. You're 70 minutes into a game. And when Pirro comes in, these little pockets of space, he's really good at finding space.
He did great yesterday when he came on the assist as well. He did great when he came on.
I do feel like it's the best way. But like I've always said, when he comes on and impacts a game, he then deserves to start the following game, or at least the one after that. So honestly, I'm so torn, and I don't really care who I see start, because if Joseph starts, Pirro does make an impact off the bench, and we're never going to be 2 or 3 goals behind when it's insurmountable to come back. That's never going to happen. It's going to be in the balance at the very least, like yesterday, 1-1. So I always think he'll make an impact. Some players need 25, 30 minutes to get into a game, and we always say with Farke, 20 minutes subs seem a little bit too late, but 10 goals from substitutes, a couple of assists here and there as well. It does actually work. He's getting his subs. You might think the timing's 5 or 10 minutes too late, but it's actually working. So if I'm honest, I don't care who starts up top, because either way, combined for the 90-minute performance, they tend to get it right. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, that's how I feel on it.
Yeah, no, great. Andrea, put the same to you, the Pirro and Joseph situation.
Yeah, I think Joseph, yesterday, what is missing, not just yesterday, but overall in the recent period, is that he moves well. I think he helps the team with his movement a lot in the number 9 position, very different to Pirro. But what's missing right now, and he's still young, very young, needs time to develop in that regard, is the decision making, and especially the timing, because even yesterday, when Dan James put the ball, I don't remember if it was Dan James on Byram in that specific situation, but we got the ball inside, and he was just a little bit like these 3 seconds late. It would have been a goal, that's the ball in the middle. In other occasions, they give the ball to him, he goes back. He needs to 1-2 touches and sprint in behind, but it was very soft in that regard. So they put pressure on him, the defenders, and he lost the ball, lost many physical duels. I think with young players, you need patience, because the expectations were very high at the start of the seasons. of the season. And I think, again, like I said with Nyonto, when he arrived, they didn't help him, honestly, because Leeds, or at least a part of the fan base, tends to do this mistake. We did that with Gellert too. When young players, products of the academy, start well and have good performances, then we tend to push them like they're the next, because we produce so many players that like the next Milner, the next Alan Smith. So yeah, put the who name there. In the end, maybe we can talk another time about Alan Smith, but yeah, I
love him. I love him, lads. I know he went to scum, but I started supporting Leeds because Alan Smith, so I don't think I can diss him too much. When seeing him in Dublin the first time, white kit, white hair, white boots, fell in love with Leeds. So yeah, Alan Smith a little bit, to be honest. So I'll never
I think with him, and I'll go back to Joseph. I think with him there's a little bit of misconception, honestly, because I think that the people have the opinion about him, the opinion that they should have about Eric Ewan, honestly, because in the end, Alan Smith, when he went to Man United, a part of the fee, he tried to go to Man United, and a part of the fee that was down to him, from Man United down to him, and his agent went to Leeds United. So I think in the end, he tried to help the club. He talked about that. In the end, okay, he said I will never play for Man United. I think he was forced then in the end to move because of the financial situation. But I think a part of the fee he helped and left him.
Didn't he really his signing on fee? That's my wife there, and Andrea turned around saying that we have blown years off her about Alan Smith and our time together. She remembered, she turned around to me one day, she's like, I think you love him more than me. And I'm like, yeah, I do. It killed me when I seen him go to Man United. And I remember that summer when he signed for Scum, I think we went to Spain on holidays one year. Dylan was there. I think Dylan was asleep on the couch. That's when it was acceptable to go and have kids asleep in the pub and that. But and I remember having a game of pool, and this lad just walked by, and no word of a lie, lads. He was wearing the United jersey at the time. Still remember. I remember I had like a shield or something around it, and he had Alan Smith on the back of it, and he had his hair spiked like Alan Smith. And I remember just thinking, I fucking hate you. Like, I remember just being like, that hurt me so much, lads, when he went to Scum. Like, it actually killed me. So yeah, I know what he done, but look, he done his best to help Leeds United. I know, let boycons. You can't. For me, not with you boys. He's not in the bracket of Harry Kewell, is he?
No, he's not.
Absolutely,
100% not.
And in the end, just to finish it off on Joseph, I think he needs time still, but he needs to be more. He needs to show more anger when he's on the pitch. He's too soft right now. He needs to. Everybody keeps saying, oh, but he's good for the Spain under-21s. Okay, but like we always said, youth football is different to senior football. Okay, you're playing against professional players there too, but when you play against, tall, physical strikers, strong strikers, it's different. He didn't really have a go last season, He had some good moments, some good performances at Stamford Bridge, for example. He deserved more minutes, absolutely, last season.
Yeah.
Because we lost time trying again when Rotter was injured, that switch, Bamford getting into the team. I think for what he showed last season, he deserved more minutes off the bench than the minutes he got. But this season, I think so much expectations. I think we expected better. But overall, he still needs time to develop, and he needs to also to show more, because he's moving well, but the timing, the decision making needs to be better, especially the timing, because the timing and the difference is the spaces is different to youth football. I think the first thing that he needs to improve is the timing. The timing when he does a certain thing, like going for the ball too late yesterday in certain occasions that it was anticipated, or push around by the defenders. He's a good player, but yeah, overall, I go with Pirot right now.
Yeah,
but I'm not forced if Joseph starts, because Pirot has proven that, like yesterday, he can change a game now from off the bench, and it's really got to see, because after trying him for many years, we lost the season. Basically, apart from the number of goals he scored last season, which was still good, we lost the season trying to transform him into a 10, and now he's a good 9 for the champ. He's always been, but now we're finally playing in his position, his natural position.
Can I just finish off on Joseph? I thought yesterday we played. I don't think Joseph played particularly well yesterday, but I feel like we played a bit more to his strengths yesterday, in terms of, if you look at when he scores for Leeds United, and he almost scored yesterday, let's be fair, he got an end of that. He likes that front post. He runs to that front post, and we were whipping balls in yesterday. Unfortunately for him, there were a couple of times where he didn't quite gamble. Voba hit some really good balls in.
Was the one James put across, and he made that run because he naturally runs to that front post. He likes to make that front post run, and he did go. The ball was kind of more central, wasn't it, for him? Yeah, just unlucky.
Getting to byline and whipping him in, and him making those runs, that's probably better for him. Where I don't feel like this season, since early on, we've really played that way. The way we play suits Pido more, but I feel like yesterday we were getting to byline and whipping a lot in Voba from that left-hand side especially. I feel like he does a lot of work outside area and puts himself about it, maybe just weren't in the right position, where with Pido, he tends to be in the right position for a second ball, for a ricochet, and he's kicking around the box, whereas Joseph, he's just not quite landing for him. But I did think, although he didn't play particularly well yesterday, it could be another conversation if he gets on the end of that and it's a brilliant finish. You know what I mean? He were close to finishing that off, let's be fair. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, great. Dil, I'll go over to you, the Joseph and Pirro situation. Won't dwell too much on it, but what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree with Andrea. He's still developing as a player. I also agree with Matty. Like, Matty hit the nail on the head. Pirro does much better coming off the bench. Coming from me, because I love Pirro, but it's a job that Joseph is doing that he's not going to get a pat in the back for, because he is wearing down defenders. But overall, pre-season and then obviously against Sheffield Wednesday, he got that goal. He looked consistent. He was kind of starting regularly. Pirro was coming on, but then Pirro just started banging them in. So I just genuinely think he's not matured there. Exactly what Andrea said. It's different playing for the youth setup internationally.
Because the 21s, he looks great, doesn't he? For Spain under 21s, he looks phenomenal, lads. He looks a league above. His movement, the way he moves, his strength. So there is a player in there, and I wouldn't be like that throwing him to the bus whatsoever. So
no, definitely.
It's how it kind of string, and the reason why I'm kind of bringing it up a little bit, because I go back to the Blackburn game when it was a very poor day all round for Leeds, and he brought Patrick Bamford on, and I was kind of trying to think, was it a situation that Bamford is kind of giving a little carrot to try and get back into the side? Was it Fark playing games with Matteo Joe was going to say, well, look, you're after falling down the pecking order now. You are my starting striker. You're now third. You need to get your finger out and train it. And all these thoughts, you're trying to make sense of it. Was it just the game state? Was it that we needed that type of Bamford to come on, be a bit of a shithouse, put himself about, his natural kind of runs, when you're trying to put all this to bed. So I was interested to kind of see how the following weeks progressed with Matteo Joe. So is it a thing that he's falling down the pecking order? And it wasn't. He was back in the starting line. I think it all kind of caught us by surprise yesterday, because I wasn't expecting him to start yesterday, especially at home. If it was away at Preston on the weekend, I probably would have turned around and said, yeah, not too much of a surprise. But yesterday, yeah, it definitely caught me off guard. But like what Mikey says, Pirro came on and he was unbelievable, lads, for that goal for Dan James. First of all, the tackle from Sam Boyram, lads. Definitely have to touch on Sam Boyram a bit, lads. What a signing he has been. Absolutely. It goes under the radar so much for me, lads. We don't give that boy enough credit for everything he's done, everything that he's been through to get his career back on track, to come to Leeds, a massive club like Leeds. And he was phenomenal again yesterday. Right back, left back. No bother to him, lads.
He's not at Leeds, is he, lads? If Farker's not here, we ain't even getting him. If Farker's not here, we ain't even looking at him. If Farker's not here, for me, you know what I mean. That's the personal relationship he's got with the manager, and he's repaid him tenfold for me. I mean, like I say, he's one of the best signings we've had in this Daniel Farker area for value for what we've got from him. We know he can't play back-to-back games, but in all fairness, he didn't have a bad go when Firpo was suspended either. So he's digging in, and when he is on the field, he's very dependable. He gives you a 7, 8 out of 10. He's better going forward than I ever thought. You were all the other week against Swansea, delivering the ball in with his left foot. He is so right-footed, but he's getting better. And for me, it's unfortunate that you've got Bogle and Firpo as starters, but if it went down to injuries and fitness worries, he could start at a top-end championship side every single week for me. He is really, really good. And how many players can you get who's levelled up, don't drop when they're playing opposite side of the pitch? Not many players can do the same, have the same impact on two different sides when you are really only one-footed. It just don't happen. It just don't happen.
Yeah, and you go back to that Swansea when he was playing left full, and a lot of people, when Firpo was out saying, Boyram just doesn't give you... Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't give you as much going forward as Firpo. But he still does give it to you going forward, and we seen with Vauber yesterday. Something, I don't know if you see it, lads, but I didn't think Max Vauber would have done what he done yesterday. I didn't see a galloping fullback in Max Vauber, which was crazy to see yesterday. But yeah, going back to Boyram, what he done as well, the run against Swansea, to have the energy, everything that he's been through, his body, to still have the willingness to run, to not really kind of care about your body, to throw caution to the wind and make that run forward. I think was towards the end of the game. He's just been absolutely exceptional. And even then, to go in for that tackle yesterday, lads, the state that his body's in, not a bother to him.
It probably gets to those extra levels now because it's Leeds United. It's probably when you think of injuries he's been through, and you guys know, you played football at a decent amateur level, I suppose, and you always go on about injuries a lot, you two. Like, he's probably just thought, fuck it. It's my last roll of dice. No, but genuinely, he's probably just thought mentally, fuck it.
Because after this, like, if it didn't work out with Leeds, you probably would have seen him hanging his boots up and saying, yeah, but I say for him to get cracked to come back to Leeds, like you said, if it wasn't for Daniel Farke, let's give it a go. Whatever they tell me to do, if they want me to not train the whole week and only play 10 minutes of training and be available the weekend, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But like you said, mate, you probably wouldn't get it with any other manager, only for Daniel Farke, and that's obviously to their previous relationship back in the Norwich City. But I'm delighted to see him coming back. And I go back to the story that I told when I met Sam Boyer at the start of the season, the first game of the season last season, when he came back to 2-2 draw at Cardiff. I met him out the back of the West Stand and I shook his hand. I said to him, I was delighted to see you back playing for Leeds, Sam, and all the very best. And he genuinely just looked at me and turned around and says, thanks very much, I'm delighted to be back here. But you could just see the smile and the glow on his face. Like, someone was after giving him the 6 numbers at a lot, that he was genuinely delighted to be back at Leeds United. And I remember turning around to Amy, and Amy turned around and said it to me as well. She was just like, oh, he's so nice, like, he's delighted to be here. And he is, lads, and he's grabbing his chance with both hands. But like you said, mate, you don't get these chances forever, and he's relishing in it. And any time he's being called upon, he's been phenomenal.
It was that sorry, last time I jumped in, lads, but he was probably he was our best player that first, I'd say, 4 or 5 games last season, when we didn't even know if Firpo could cut the mustard in this division. We'd come down from Premier League, we were really poor. We were looking at Byron thinking, wow, what a player, but he isn't going to be able to play every week. Because at that point, we didn't think Firpo were going to be any good. And then all of a sudden, Firpo comes in, raises his level, and Byron's such a good backup option. So, like I say, I think a lot of people forget that. First 4 or 5 games last season, he was one of his best players.
Cardiff.
He was outstanding.
Yeah, and, he can be a reliable option on both sides. I think yesterday maybe shows that if you play him on the right with his right foot, he can play different compared to when he's on the left, because he can be like a more attacking fullback, right back, because he sees natural position. He started there, and especially his first season at Leeds, he tended to get forward. I remember, I think he was in the League Cup, maybe a chip goal, behind the goalkeeper against Oxford, might be in the League Cup. Yeah, that season, he tended to get forward, so he's his natural position, very similar to ID White back then, by the way, in that position. On the left,
what a player!
Yeah, ID White.
He was rapid, wasn't he? Yeah, he was too quick, like Dan James, but he was like, every time he ran, he just pulled something, didn't he? God love him.
Yeah, he was very good. I used to love him, honestly, because especially under Warnock, he made the next step. Then unfortunately injuries, absolutely got the better of his career off him. But on the left against Luton, Byram, he played in a different way. Because he when he got forward, he did what Firpo usually do. But in a different way, even more attacking minded. I think Byram in that game, he went basically on the same line with Solomon, with Aronson, and I think it was Nyont on the other side. So when we were attacking, it was like the 3 at the back, one midfielder, Rothwell, and then you had all the other players, including Byram, on the same line. And it was like the link up between Rothwell or Tanaka in that regard and Solomon in that sense, very, very close to Solomon in that game. And that's also why he went and scored, because he was playing very, very high, because he had Stroud covering for him at the back.
Yeah,
absolutely. And yesterday was different, because Weber tried to do that for a while. We even saw Nyonto trying to get more back up the pitch to try to help Weber in certain occasions. But I think the one player, if I have to pick a game this season, that did both phases, the defensive one and defensive one, on the left side properly, was Byram in that game against Luton, because he did what Asker wants from the left back properly in that game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Stuart Dallas, yeah, absolutely.
He is. That's what he feels like. That Stuart Dallas at this side is in. I think you kind of need that on all kind of side, lads. You need a player that can kind of come in and give you a dig out, be Mr. Consistent. And Byram is certainly that. And like what Matty turned around and said, I wouldn't be missing. I know it's crazy to say, if we do go to Premier League, I'd still keep him around the place, because I just think his experience, his love for Leeds United, like, even if he's a third choice to come on cup games, wherever maybe, just to have him around the place, knows Leeds, loves Leeds, is happy to be here, I'd be more than happy to give him a contract in the Premier League 100%. And look, we're going to have to go get another left back anyway. It looks like Firpo is going to go out the door we're gonna have to go get a left back anyway. But I'd be slapping a contract on the table for him.
Talking about experience, I want to give a shout, and ask your opinion about Gilavogi, because I think yesterday when Yonto went to celebrate, we can see also the team talk that he gave to the team, as Falk revealed before the Luton game. I think it shows how important it was last season after we lost Ayling, Dallas and Cooper all together, how important it was to bring in another influential figure to nurture and transfer that experience, that captain leadership, because it was captain at Wolfsburg, played in Europe as caps for France, to transfer that experience from an experienced player like Gilavogi to the next possible leaders of the team, like Strauch, for example, like myself, Strauch, Pascal.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like, he hasn't even played much. He hasn't done like much on the ball, but he's just. I think it was just from his first interview when he just turned around and he obviously mentioned Oliver Decor, and it was just like he just catches you straight away, and he has knowledge of Leeds United, and you can just see by his post, and he's just like, it's Leeds United, I'm happy to be here, and just a smile on his face. Similar to Sam Boyer, I'm just genuinely, you can see it was from that he's delighted to play for Leeds, and loved him from the start. But then when Fark came out after the Swansea game and said that Gilavogi kind of called a meeting, got the players around to kind of rally the troops and come on, like, let's go, like. And he's not even playing, like, lads. That's a leader, and it's something that you do need in that dressing room.
You just want to give him a hug, don't you?
Unson, he just that smile, just there's like this kind of air about him already, and like that he doesn't even play much.
Matty, that's gonna be me and you at the Oxford game. I don't know, maybe the players come in. Me and you, arm around Gilavogi. Me, small, you and Gilavogi, same height.
But agree with what Andrea says. Like, it's imperative that we got a bit of experience into the squad, and it's something that probably wouldn't happen apart from all the injuries. So again, might be a little blessing in disguise that we do have Gilavogi here, because it was one thing going into the season. Like, I know Dallas was injured, but he was still in the background, and you'd Cooper here last season. There was a lot of experience gone out this door, lads, over the last couple of seasons. You've Aylan gone as well the season before. You still have Paddy Bamford here, but there's a lot of experience gone, and it feels like obviously Strike has been here. He was back there in the Premier League days, but it feels like he's only kind of starting to come into that kind of leadership role. Like, wouldn't be saying that he's an old guard or anything like that. He's kind of just more coming into that role, and same thing with Meslier. So yeah, Gilavogi could be a blessing in disguise. You don't want to see anyone get injured, but thank God he did, because I'm delighted to have him here.
I think he's a cracking player, lads. But all we see as fans is that 11 or that squad on match day. We don't see the training sessions, and I'm sure Leeds will vouch for it, but I'm sure every club will say everybody's important within that club, even down to the cooks and the kit man and everything. And when you've got someone like Gilavogi, who, let's be fair, he's at the latter end of his career, but he's a talented footballer. He's played at a high level. But when you get someone who's got the knowledge and of all the game and all that big game knowledge and all that, but he's happy to take a back seat and not take the limelight, and it's same role as Sam Byram, second, third choice, may never even see the pitch for a run of games, but he's happy to do that. He's happy. It's no flash. He probably drives a Vauxhall Nova into training. He's just not flash at all. But he's a level above. A lot of players in this division will be on a lot more money than he is. But he's just happy to be here. And like I say, we only see what we see on match day, but you can see the players love him already, and he's got that captain's mentality without even trying to overpower the captain. He's just an extra
voice.
Yeah, honestly, I just feel like we're so lucky.
And probably Striker's probably the lightest him coming, because obviously you have Ampadu like 100%. Now on the wings, he came back in. But I'd say over these last couple of weeks, Striker's obviously taken on the mantle, and I thought he's done brilliant being handed that captain's role. And at the start of the season when he was given an Ampadu, I was kind of in a toss-up. I was kind of saying, more so Strike, but he obviously went to an Ampadu. But I think since Gilavogi has came in, he's probably helped out Strike as well. Look at do this, do that. And like that, what you said, Matty, very much like a Carragher and Gerrard situation. Like it was always going to say Gerrard was like the silent leader, but Carragher was the one kind of in the background, shouting and giving out. I don't think Gilavogi is that type, but you need leaders in the dressing room. Just because you're handed a captain's armband doesn't mean the other 10 players or the rest of the squad can't say a word. You need leaders in the squad. And like even last season when you go back to the playoff defeat, like that would have hurt all these players, but it's a learning curve and they don't want to go through that again. And Gilavogi has played for some big sides, and he knows as well what it takes to be successful in playing football. And I just think, look what I said, lads, it's probably a blessing in disguise that Ampadu got injured and grew out, because we wouldn't have seen him here. I'm delighted to see him here, and it shows Nanto, as soon as he scores, runs straight over to him and gives him a big hug, like, so that tells its own story, doesn't it?
Love that turn.
Yeah, love it. Right, lads, unconscious that yous are over on Just Joe's final word, but before you go, Andrea, I don't know if you know, but we always give our match day predictions at the end of every final point for the next game. So we have a little bit of a leaderboard at the minute. Mighty is leading us, so I'm just going to pull it up here and show you how the leaderboard is going at the minute. So basically the forfeit is you have to eat a hot chip at the last day of this season. So let me know if you can see this here, boys.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Here he comes.
There we go. Matty Noel, Whelan, Foster.
So the final point hot chip table, Matty Noel, Whelan, Foster has got 2 correct scores, right? So he leads the table. Sean Dillo Deutsch is on 1. He got 1 right, and Darren Sniffer Clark, Paddy Last hasn't got any right because I think I always kind of go more with my heart than my head. So I need to up me game big time. So that's how it stands at the minute, lads. So yeah, talking about the hot chip challenge, lads. Let me stop sharing that because we don't want to see that anymore. Let's get your predictions for Preston. I'm gonna go Dillo to you first. Preston on Saturday. What are we thinking?
You always pick me, don't you, first? It's always.
Just covering
I did say a couple of weeks ago I didn't think Leeds were going to win this one. I'll never vote against Leeds. I'll never give a score against Leeds. So I'm going to go with 2-1 to Leeds.
Matty, what are you saying, buddy?
3-0 Leeds.
That is confident. Andrea?
I should be like him because he's top of the leaderboard there. You know what I mean?
We have a Mexican restaurant in my hometown, so I think if that's the case, I've already set up the whole thing. It's gonna be very, very narrow.
Yeah.
1-0 for Leeds.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm thinking a toy game.
I was thinking that as well, but
I'll take it.
I just
Celtic says I'm with Dillo, we're fucked.
Can I just say as well, Danny Talksport, mate, you said we were going to lose 3-0 to Middlesbrough and Alien were going to cup his ear. He didn't even get on pitch, and you also said Bamford did have a run of games in January. That ain't happening, mate. That is not. Now, he gave us a little bit of a scare with Bamford coming on the other week, but nah, you're wrong on that one, Paul.
Yeah, true easy. I think, well, obviously Matty's gone 3-0, Dillo's gone 2-1, Andrea said 1-0. I am thinking more so of a tight game. I don't think there's going to be many goals in it again, just because Dillo said.
We've got to put away from home. We've got to put in a massive performance at some point away from home. It's got to happen.
Do you know what? I'm gonna be a head case. I'm just gonna say 4-1 Leeds. I'm gonna go with me hard again.
This is like
I'm not listening to your head.
He just keeps saying the same prediction every week consistently.
I said 4-2 last week. Yeah, okay. I'll go a little bit different. My head was saying 2-1, but my heart saying 4-1. So yeah, I'll go with my heart again. Sure.
Amy, get some extra toilet roll. Darren's gonna need it.
I'm gonna do what Danny said. Put the toilet roll in the freezer. Mine's in, so it's ready for me.
You are after, mate. You are after.
I thought it's
I know, Marcus. I know. I'm at the going with my heart. I should have went with my head. But anyway, lads, look, just touching on Preston real quick before I let you go, because I am conscious that you are over on Joe's show. Are we worried about Preston? Obviously, Marcus does say here the early kick-off. It is. We've struggled with them as of late. Away form isn't great. Are we worried? What are we thinking? Real quick, Andrea.
I think they're very usually, the usual Preston side. Last season, it's a big game for them. They still haven't recovered from the playoff semi-final. When we won the World Cup, in Italy, 2006. There's 2 goals from Richardson and Olds.
You won the Euros as well, didn't you, Andrea?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, he was in the final.
I don't know if Martin knows, but
I can't even say I'm being Irish. I don't even know what a tournament is. So.
I remember we got some good battles with Ireland, especially in 2012. In the qualifiers a lot of time,
yeah.
But you beat us in 1994. Right out.
2016 as well in the Euros as well. The Robbie Brady header, yeah. I was in Chicago for that, and it was 8:00 in the morning, and yeah. What a day! And what an Italian side that was as well for Ireland to even be in, even the conversation with Italy back then. But yeah, the Irish team now are absolutely horrendous. Might you come across to you, Preston? What are we thinking? Well, obviously you're saying 3-0.
Yeah,
you're obviously confident.
It comes down to whether we get an early goal or not. I mean, if we don't get an early goal, it could be a long afternoon. But I just think there'll be a massive bounce after this game. The confidence with lads will be massive. But I said that after Luton game. But I just think they'll go in, they'll get an early goal. And I think if we get an early goal, the game changes, as everyone knows in football. Get an early goal against a side that potentially wants to sit back and not really engage. We get that early goal, which I feel like is in his locker now, and we're getting it a bit more consistently. I think we get that, and I think it becomes a bit of an easier game for us when we're 3-0. But we'll see.
I hope so. I want to put this away for him to get. I can't handle another Swansea City game. So, yeah, Dillo, real quick before we let the boys go. Preston, what do you think? You've obviously gone for a tight one, 2-1.
2-1. As I said, just real quick. I'm getting Millwall vibes. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. The last time this happened as well.
They managed to get
what Millwall scored tonight, by the way?
They just seen it there. Sheffield United won 1-0, lads. So yeah, they go back to the top of the table. So but look, that's Matty. We've said it. That's they go and they dig out 1-0 against hard place to go, and that's what Leeds need to start doing. And Leeds need to do it the weekend because the Deepdale isn't an easy place to go. They need to dig out a result, don't they? I'm not too harsh. Look, I had a feeling they were going to beat them tonight, especially with the whole Neil Harris situation that's going on as well. It was
typical though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of written.
Had to beat us, but they couldn't beat
Look what Joe said. We have that little gap on tour, and that's all that matters. Look at you want to win the league, but for me, it's just just keep ourselves in that top tier, and we're taking.
See Sam Boyer lift the trophy. That's my dream.
Yeah, that'd be a nice one actually. Yeah, Bamford running to the south stand. Could you imagine it? You could see it now. Cupping his ears. Yeah, pulled his hammy running with the cup. Yeah,
you'll see a lot of people. Get him out! Get him.
Lads, look, I think we leave it there. Again, Andrea, thanks very much for popping on. It's been a pleasure having you on here and hearing all your knowledge. Absolutely top guy. Head across to Just Joe's final word as well to hear more from Andrea because it has some top stuff. Matty from Imagine Not Being Leeds, don't forget to pop over and subscribe. And he's doing well. Mate, you did hit 400, didn't you, the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I got to 400.
400 lads, keep going, keep subscribing, get across there and keep it going there with Matty. That's it then from the Final Point. It's been a good one, really enjoyed it. Good topics, a few agreements, few disagreements, but it's been a good one. We'll chat you all again soon. We probably will be back Thursday, I'd imagine, probably Thursday would it be, lads, for the press conference. I'd imagine it's going to be Thursday or Friday. Yeah, Friday's probably a bit too late, probably Thursday. We'll be back Thursday and Friday for Preston North and build up. So we'll chat you all again soon. Before you leave, don't forget to smash a like on the video, hit subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a beat, and we'll chat you all again soon. Have a good one, enjoy.